Switching gears, am I a disbeliever by believing in evolution? So Seeker's Guidance, even on the evolution question, they have to give us some soy. Am I a disbeliever by believing in the evolution theory? Does believing that human beings evolved from other species entail disbelief? If one believes that we are not just the descendants of one couple, Adam and Eve, but that through an evolutionary process, it would have been multiple pairs of couples, would this constitute kufr? Chat, what do you think? Is this kufr to deny that we're all descended from Adam and Eve because there are other pairs that humans evolved from, and that we're not from, you know, we're evolved, humans are evolved from other species? Is this kufr? Chat, do you know? So, is it kufr? Is the answer from the Sheikh, Ustad, Doctor? Yes, you are still considered a Muslim and a believer. However, the belief itself, as it currently stands, is considered contrary to Orthodox Islamic doctrine. Interesting. So you're saying it's kufr or not? As for your other questions, as mentioned in the previous answer, this does not necessarily entail disbelief. Oh, okay. So it's not kufr. It would depend on whether one's understanding of evolution involves clearly disavowing an aspect of faith that one is required to believe in. Therefore, if someone's belief in evolution leads him to deny the prophethood of Adam or that this process occurred causally independent of God, this would be considered disbelief. So if you deny the prophethood, so this guy is not denying the prophethood, he's just saying that Adam and Eve are not the only one. There are other couples and we could have descended from them. So, okay, that's not kufr. And then, oh, it's evolution. Well, God controls evolution according to these people. So that's not denying that there can be, or that's not denying the dependence of everything on God. Oh, so it's not considered disbelief. Okay, the same considerations would apply to part 2. You should note that a particular belief not rendering an individual outside the fold, which is for the main part a judgment belonging to a judge or a group of qualified scholars, does not mean that that belief is acceptable. So are you saying that it's not acceptable? So does it mean that that is haram? Does it mean, what is the status of this belief? He leaves it to subtext. He leaves it to implication. He doesn't say, other than saying, well, it's considered, look how he brackets everything. It is considered contrary to Orthodox Islamic doctrine, and none of this means that your belief is acceptable. Don't get that impression. He can't say clear cut, this is contrary to Islam. This is unacceptable. Can't say it like that. He has to bracket it. Why? Why? This Salman Yunus, which, by the way, we can talk a lot about. Colleagues with Ingrid Mattson, by the way, or he was at least in the past. But so why can't you say that this is disbelief? By the way, he is doing takfir. He is denying the verses of the Quran that say that we're descended from Adam, alayhi salam. We're Bani Adam. That's clear cut in the Quran. So he is denying that. He's denying it. And we've covered this in articles on Muslim Skeptic. Go to Muslim Skeptic Evolution, and we have all the evidence about why this is kufr, to believe that humans evolved from apes or pre-hominids. This is kufr because it contradicts the clear-cut verses of the Quran. That makes the belief kufr. So if you hold to these evolutionary beliefs, does that mean you're necessarily a kafir? Okay, fine, that depends. There are other considerations, like, are you just completely ignorant of the verses? But the belief itself, is it kufr? Is it disbelief? Yes, it is disbelief. And he even cites, here, we're going to go to this, because he says, as mentioned in the previous answer, and there's a hyperlink. So let's go to that hyperlink. What does Islam say about evolution and the Big Bang? By the same guy, the same Ustaz. So it's asking about evolution and Big Bang. So let's go to the evolution part. As for evolution, the dominant, if not consensus viewpoint, again, like why is it a viewpoint? It's not an opinion. The dominant position among scholars is that it is in direct contradiction of the primary texts, affirming an original and direct creation for Adam, who was the first human being. So there you go. It's in direct contradiction. So is that not takdhib? Maybe it's more nuanced than that, but it seems like you're denying something that's clearly in the Quran. Okay, these texts, such as the Quran, chapter 38, verses 71 through 76, indicate that Adam did not arise from a prior species. This was not because God could not have created humans through an evolutionary process, but because he willed not to do so and informed us of this through revelation. So as for non-human species, there's nothing in the Quran directly, so we can accept evolution for other animals. This is their position, by the way. I don't think it's acceptable, not because the Quran says that evolution through natural selection is not correct, but because evolutionary theory on its own grounds should be rejected because it's irrational theory, it's bunk. It's scientific nonsense. It's anti-scientific. And there are many arguments that can be made here that I've made in the past, but we won't get into evolution as a whole. We're just focusing on evolution of human beings. Can you accept the evolution of human beings? And the answer is no, it is kufr, because if you accept that, you're contradicting the Quran, the explicit text of the Quran. Okay. So then this is more discussion, but evolution being kufr. Following from the above, it's also important to address the fact that a number of scholars have stated that evolution as the theory claiming men evolved from a prior non-human species is disbelief, kufr, such as our teacher, Sheikh Nuh Keller. So Sheikh Nuh Keller says it's kufr. The point is that, our teacher, Sheikh Nuh Keller. So Sheikh Nuh Keller is your teacher, right? Or is this just lip service? Yeah, he's our teacher, but I'm going against what he's saying, like explicitly. I'm going against what he's saying because I guess I'm a sheikh at the level of Sheikh Nuh. So yeah, this is just a nonsense explanation. Checked and approved by Faraz Rabbani, as usual. It is not even necessarily the case that the belief itself is literal disbelief, especially as it relates to Muslim evolutionists who continue to affirm God's creative power and will, that Adam was a real human and that he was in some manner created by God. Sheikh Nuh says it doesn't matter. You can think that, evolution is directed by God. And yeah, Adam was a real person. It's still kufr if you're denying that Adam is a special creation, not evolved from a prior species. Adam didn't have parents. Adam didn't have parents. He wasn't born. That's explicit in the Quran and Sunnah. If you deny that, it's kufr. But I don't know what kind of gymnastics he does here. Like, it just becomes a bunch of noise. Is it so ridiculous? He doesn't give any actual reason. And he cites like Hatem al-Auni, like another reformist. Like, this is just a modern sheikh who's like a reformist in so many issues. So he's not an authority. So there's no reasoning here. There's nothing actually. Like, it's just like, you have a erroneous interpretation. This is your ta'wil is fasid. Again, like, if there's a ta'wil, then it becomes acceptable. Then all kinds of deviance and kufr become acceptable within Islam. I just have a ta'wil. I have an interpretation. So there's no like possibility of denying the Quran if any ta'wil is acceptable. So why is this interpretation that you can give for Adam? Adam actually did have parents. Okay, how are you you're interpreting the verses of the Quran exactly the opposite, the literal opposite of what they say. Anyway, seeker's guidance, tweaker's misguidance. You gotta be tweaking on something to find this to be convincing or scholarly.